Hello!
Station.
Today I will be going over a much requested ship, the German T-10 cruiser, the Hindenburg. Now first of all, I think the ship looks amazing. This is an awesome looking ship in my opinion. This matchmaking, it's against T-10s, or a bunch of, I think there are a bunch of high tires, I can't remember, a bunch of T-10s anyway. And obviously the Hindenburg is a bit of a peculiar ship in the way that, much like all the German earlier ships, it has really bad HE. And having really bad HE obviously limits it against ships that angle. But even though people make a big deal about how much it limits it because it can't really do damage to angled ships, on the flip side, it deals absolutely tremendously murderously nutty armor piercing damage on anyone who does give you a broadside. This is like a vulture type of ship that, unlike the Zhao and the Des Moines, who have the versatility to attack at any point, the Hindenburg is hugely impactful when it gets the broadside. It doesn't matter if it's a battleship or a cruiser, it doesn't matter how far away it is, because these shells are so pinpoint accurate and they have such a fast trajectory that, well, as you can see here, I'm firing at this Des Moines. Nine hits out of a volley of 12. Second volley already on the way because thanks to the reload mods, the reload is so slow, or so fast. And another volley again, and a Citadel. He is literally across the map from me. But his accuracy is so nutty, and the DPM is so nutty, and even the penetrative power, if you get the broadside, is so insane that this guy has melted so low. It's not only now like starting to realize that holy shit, what is even shooting me? I can't understand why I'm losing so much HP. And the thing is, this is not limited to just cruisers. Even on battleships, if they give you a broadside, you do tremendous damage. Like this Montana is kind enough to provide an example. They're only 5k volley because I only hit 5 shots. But when you land like full volleys like that, you can easily pump out like 10-12k volleys on battleships, on the Yamatos. It doesn't matter what kind of battleship it is. If you get to shoot the broadside, your damage is just completely insane. And that's why, even though the ship suffers when you angle against it, in these big brawls with 12 versus 12 and such, no one will always be able to angle against you. That's just foolish, especially if you position yourself in a way that you get to shoot at broadsides. There's no way everyone is always going to angle at you, and because of your large range and your accuracy, you can kind of pick and choose who you want to shoot at what range. So I feel like this is another case where people have exaggerated the weaknesses of the ship, which is weak to being angled against, to the point that it's supposed to make the ship useless, which it certainly does not. Now I'm trying to shoot, but I've glided too far away. I'm afraid to back off. I'm trying to back a bit because I really want to kill this skipper who's being extremely stupid. But I'm also a bit leery because they have a lot of battleships there that I'm giving broadside to. I'm detected, which is confusing me. I'm not really certain what's detecting me. It has to be something that has slipped in on the other side of the map and is spotting me. Ultimately I deem this spot just too skeptical. Now this is just this spot, but I'm popping my hydroacoustic because there might be torps coming from the right. The Hindenburg standing this still is a bit of a too tempting target. Oh, please give me a last volley before I go into cover. He's getting so much broadside. Only 2 turrets, but 2 turrets on this ship is no joke, as you can see. Instant Citadel. And you really penetrate any armor on the ship. And but the most dangerous you are is the cruisers, because your fast shells and your rapid DPM means that anytime they give broadside, there's a risk that Admiral or a Hindenburg will be there to punish them for it. And unlike battleships, which you can spot a mile away and react to, you can actually get the Hindenburg concealment down to 12.3 kilometers. Certainly not as good as either the American or the Japanese counterpart, but being... Yeah, I'm using my hydroacoustic and telling my team to hunt him down, because that guy's being spotted by my hydra. This guy is warning about camping. Nice camper, Hindenburg. Because I was using the train to my advantage. And that was my weak attempt at doing a smiley face. I just woke up, so sorry about that. But this Rumpella guy, that's the Moine I blasted at the start to half HP. Now he's complaining. Because apparently using terrain to your advantage is camping. But whatever, don't really care. Somehow this guy managed to die to a completely spotted Shimakaze by trying to ram him. Here's the weakness of the Hindenburg. Basically, this New Orleans is angled. He's 2 tiers lower, but he's angled. So this greatly limits my damage. But the thing is, at some point they get close. If they try to do this, basically rush you, at some point, first of all, they do take damage when the shells land on the superstructure. They can't angle against that. And second of all, at some point they get close enough that their angling doesn't matter anymore, and you start pinning through the superstructure into the citadel. And usually when that happens, they panic and start turning. Like, they've resisted all damage, but it's getting closer and closer and closer, and you don't want to do this to Hindenburg. It might seem tempting, haha, I'm invincible, but oh, there we go. Now a shell penned, he's too close now. And this is where he basically goes, oh fuck, I need to turn, he's suddenly penning me, and as soon as you do this, you give that broadside to a Hindenburg, that's when shit go really tits up, as you can see. This is where his HP bar just disappears. You cannot do this, you cannot give this broadside to a Hindenburg, because you will get punished so hard. And this applies to all ships. Even Zaos can bounce your shells to a certain point. But when they get close enough, you start penning. And when you start penning, they need to do something about it because they cannot stand up to your damage. Because the AP DPM on the ship is nuts. And this is of course the last thing you want to do, what this Tago is doing. Basically go into a broadside versus broadside fight with me. You do not want to do this. Like you can see the absolutely insane damage I do. This Tago is just like melting, like ice cream left in the sun. He's disappearing. You cannot do this against the Hindenburg. You cannot go broadside to broadside, try to sit and fight this guy, because the damage is 2-0. Now that's the guy that whined about me being a camper, that Rumpella guy. Now, as usual, I should probably flee at this point and run away, or I should have probably done that a while ago. But those that watch my stream and basically know my aggressive playstyle, the idea of fleeing like a little girl, I mean, fuck that. I know T10 ship, T10 repairs, whatever. I got these ships to have fun with them. I got these ships to fight in them. I didn't get them to hide in the corner and snipe. So I'll be continuing my aggressive push here. My entire team is, of course, if you look at the minimap and despair, you can see my entire team is humping the left-hand corner for some reason. No one knows why, what they're doing there. They're afraid to scratch the paint on their ships, I guess. But I don't give a shit. That's not my style. So I'm trying to get into the smoke here, so I can use the smoke to shoot them. Unfortunately, this Benson buddy of mine decided to die. I have no idea how he got himself killed. I think he was shooting at the Des Moines or something. Probably the dumbest thing you can do, as you probably saw from my own Des Moines commentary. Oh, Amagi giving me a bit of a broadside. That means he's gonna take a lot of damage. Oh, 9 hits. This is not good. The plane is spotting me. Yeah, I'm almost guaranteed dead, because basically my team is sitting so far back, so there's nothing tying this Montana or Amagi down. So they just basically turned around and sailed right away over here, because my team is being completely useless. So their ships have the freedom. I read this. Honestly, I mean, look at the minimap. This is pretty funny. There's literally an Ibuki, a Fletcher, and an Oyova, and they got a Yamato Shimakaze, Turpitz, Izuma, and they're hiding in a corner. Okay, this Amagi is giving me broadside. Oh, this is a bit troublesome. Taking a lot of damage. Let's see if I can take one of these guys with me. Oh, the Des Moines. He has 90k HP. He's the guy called the camper. You know what? This is what happens if you do broadside to the Hindenburg. Oh. Just before I died, I got. You can bet your ass that guy is gonna be really salty right now, because I just deleted him. Yeah, I'm just telling them you can literally find our entire team hiding in this corner. I don't know what Shimakaze is doing. He's border humping over here, and Yamato, don't tell me, please don't be. Yeah. I literally have no idea what they're doing here. Please don't tell me the Yamato's... Oh god, the Yamato is almost full HP. Whatever, I'm gonna do a Yamato commentary soon and I'll fucking show you how how godlike a Yamato is. Anyways, this was such a shit game, so I'm gonna jump into another one. Because, honestly, that was... Or actually, first I will jump into the score screen. As you can see here. This is how this game ended. A bit of a... I got decent money and stuff, but I mean, look at my team. They were completely useless. And even though this game lasted... How long did it last? How long was I even in combat? I was in combat for 9 minutes 30 seconds. And I did 144,000 damage in 9 minutes 30. So that kind of gives you an idea of the sheer damage potential of this ship. But let's jump into another commentary because that was fucking depressing. Let's jump into a... This one looks about good. In this game, the enemy team has been pushing, charging it down into A, and I'm basically alone here with 2 DDs. Which is not really surprising, because my entire team wanted to go hide somewhere up C where there were no enemies, and you know me, I'm not gonna go hide somewhere, I'm gonna go fucking take a fight with them, because that's the fun shit. This Mogami gave me broadside, and as I've said before, you give me broadside, you fucking die, because I'm Hindenburg. You do know, this is the last ship you want to give broadsides to. You can see the pure damage, like I've shot, what, 2 volleys at him so far? This is my 3rd volley. And it only takes 3 volleys at 12 kilometers if you give me broadside, because you're just gonna get deleted. You don't want to do this. This is just a brute. This is so punishing to cruisers, this ship. Only using my reverse guns here. I have to angle myself because, as you can see, there's not exactly many ships here, and they have a lot of stuff down here. But yeah, this Mogami is giving me broadside. Very intelligent. I think people still underestimate a bit Hindenburg. Maybe it's people have been saying how bad the ship is, so people completely underestimate the sheer damage potential of this ship if you give broadside. I knew where he was turning towards me, that's why I shot that last volley, even though he was undetected. I didn't even get the Citadel, but I did 9,000 damage. Like, scary AP damage, very scary. Okay, now I got 2 Iovas and Turpid shooting at me. I double Citadel at Mogami, so he's like down to no HP. Now I gotta be a bit careful because literally their entire fleet is almost shooting at me. Of course, my entire fleet is fighting like 2 ships up at sea, which is very impressive. But whatever, I don't give a shit. I'm used to my team not being very useful. And well, in this case, I'm just kiting. Honestly, angling myself, kiting, using my rear guns to just try to finish off this Mogami. I got superbly low because I want the points for my team. Taking a big chunk of damage, but honestly, the one thing I've noticed with the Hindenburg is that I don't feel like I get those really random angled citadels. Except against the Yamato, but everyone gets really weird citadels against Yamato because he doesn't give a shit about angling. He just shoots you somewhere and it's a citadel because fuck you, that's why. So, but other than that, against other ships, I haven't really noticed it that badly. Now I'm starting to get far enough away that I'm not afraid to give a bit more broadside. Trying to get some... I always giving me a bit of a broadside, so I'm trying to capitalize on it. Because as I said in my earlier commentary, it doesn't matter if you're a cruiser or a battleship, if you give broadside, then this ship can really punish you. I really want to turn right, but this Izuma is hellbent on just basically legging it out of here. Well, I don't, I want to go back and fight. I just wanted to get out of the basically spot that would have gotten me instantly killed. Their team is, well, kind of constrained down to A. Or well, they could of course push out, but people don't really like pushing in this game, so I'm just gonna go pick a fight with them and they will probably never leave A at all. Because I am one ship and they are only 7. Oh, we have no, this Izuma is actually turning. These Turpids, oh, he turned around, he's fleeing. Damn, I thought he was gonna come help us, but no such luck. Here I'm using my concealment. Basically, just trying to get to an optimal angle. I don't want to be shooting these battleships now because they're all angled against me. So if I would shoot them now, I would just get salty because I'm not doing any damage. So why on earth would I shoot and reveal my position when I can just as well sail around to the side and get to their broadsides? Launch some storms, because why not, really? That's the logic. Like, if he comes at me full speed, there's a chance that my short, I think, wait, were they 6 or 8? Actually, since there's a, I think I might be, I just woke up, so I think I'll remember this was 8, but I think they're actually 6. So looking at this now, that was probably not the wisest decision, but whatever. I've finally gotten where I wanted to, that is to ambush one of their cruisers, which is what I want to shoot at. So naturally, I instantly capitalize on it. I did end up taking some damage from the battleships, but here's another cruiser giving broadside. And this is why I sailed all the way to this side, to basically get some surprise angles on this ship. And bam, that's its HP gone. Probably gonna be able to finish off him as well. Okay, finished off the Mogami. And I'm just kiting and healing. At this really long ranges, other cruisers aren't really that effective. I mean, Des Moines becomes superbly ineffective at long range. The Zao is the one ship that's very effective at both long and close ranges. But the Hindenburg is also extremely effective at long ranges. I would say if someone gives broadside, this is even more effective than the Zao at long ranges, because this is just so powerful against the broadsides. See if I could just get the right angle so I could actually land some shots. Nice. This is an Iowa who's focusing on someone else, so he's giving me broadside. And here I should be able to show an example of what happens when a battleship shows you broadside. Like, just instantly melts. Like, you can do these 10k volleys, and when you got a 8.8 second reload, you really pump out some insane damage on a so-called battleship, heavily armored ship. And they have just no chance. This guy has been crying the entire time that this game was lost because we had 1 DD more than they did. Or was it 2 DDs more than they did, even though we lost 1 DD right at the start. And he has been trying to convince us that the reason they lost was because of that 1 BB disadvantage, even though they had much better battleships and cruisers, I think. Yeah, here I'm saying, yeah, their loss clearly had nothing to do with the fact that all their ships are clustering up at A and being pretty much useless the entire match. Instead, but it totally had to do, it was only matchmaking's fault. But people like this really don't usually want to admit fault. They didn't lose because they were idiots, they lost because matchmaking is evil. That's the usual logic. This game is clearly starting to be over quite quickly. Just rushing to see if I could get some damage done. Because once again, this is why I decided to use 2 games in this commentary, because honestly these games were so short. I've had a hard time getting these long games on the Hindenburg because it's hard, because usually either you just melt them so fast, or then I get stupidly over aggressive and I melt myself. A bit like the Des Moines games I have sometimes, like either I insta-die or I just insta-wreck. Yeah, this game, all of us were almost live. 11-minute game, I did 120k damage. But hopefully this will give you some idea of how the Hindenburg works and just how dangerous the ship truly is if someone gives you the broadside. Anyways. Now, as usual, we'll start with the modules, which in this case, of course, it's a T10 ship with no upgrades, so there's not much to talk about. Consumable-wise, I use the premium repair and the premium heal. I've been considering using the premium hydroacoustic. It probably could be good, but haven't been arsed. Probably could be valuable, but honestly, usually I find it's available when I need it, so I haven't really been forced to use it, but it's certainly an option if you want to increase your safety. I was kind of lazy using it in my vid, but hey, it happens. I kind of just woke up, so I'll blame it on that. Upgrade wise, main battery of course, your guns are your bread and butter. Accuracy, of course, you want to be landing the citadels. Pinpoint accuracy is what makes you strong against cruisers, so you can actually snipe those citadels. Faster reload, main battery modification. You sacrifice a turret traverse, but your turret traverse is still quite fast at 24.5, so this is very much a highly recommended upgrade for the 3 million one. Damage control mod 3, simply because the other two are rarely used, not because it's that good, it's simply you won't see much use of these other two. And turn rate, because your turn rate is absolute garbage. With this mod my rudder shift is 9.7, like the ZA with the same mod has a rudder shift of 6.1, so 50% slower turn rate, even more than 50% slower turn rate on the or rudder shift time on the Hindenburg, not to mention the massive turning circle radius. So highly recommended, otherwise your maneuverability is just so garbage. And last but not least, the one thing every single cruiser should have, at least well, no, every single cruiser, as soon as you can afford it, concealment, so you can get your concealment down to a somewhat comfortable 12.3, which still isn't good, but it's not that horrible 16 kilometer concealment you start out with. Captain Perks, I only have 15 points on this guy so far, so you get the, well, it's actually kind of good for this commentary, I guess. Concealment and acquisition, you need to know when you're spotted. Turret traverse, of course, there's no other here that's even remotely as valuable as this one. Superintendent, extra consumable, all the consumables you use, very simple, especially the heal, of course. Here I went for advanced firing training to buff the somewhat shitty anti-air on this ship, simply because these others are useless. The plain one is completely useless. You don't lose steering or engine often enough to even consider last stand, and you don't use HE often enough to even consider demolition. So this one is the one that will benefit you the most in the end. And once again, concealment, you need it on the Hindenburg, otherwise you're a goddamn Izuma that can be spotted a mile away and shot by every battleship, which is horrible. As for the second perk, I will probably be going for Basics of Survivability, since it's such a good perk for 1 point. And possibly if I get another point, I'll start considering secondary armament for slightly buffed AA. That remains to be seen, but Basics of Survivability will definitively be my 16th point. Anyway, that was my short and sweet Hindenburg commentary, and overall I've been quite enjoying the ship, even though sometimes you get teams that aren't that effective. Anyways, that's me out.